Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I want to do a quick video on tools that people will need if the crap hits the fan. It looks like to me the phone's whitewashed. I hope it ain't. I'm outside today. My back's still hurting, so I'll be moving a little slow. Just be patient. We'll try to get this done. Okay, the tools I'm talking about are like hand tools. This here is my pruning saw. And it's got the little thing here that cuts the limbs and stuff. And if you need to prune a tree and you don't have the ability to get gas for your chainsaw, this here comes in real handy. And stuff like axes, a good axe, when if you have to, this is like, now this axe, see how thick it is? This is like a axe you want to chop wood with to bust it. And it's entirely too heavy to be swinging on a tree, but it's a good busting axe. Snow shovels, stuff like this is a handy thing to have. You can get out here and move snow around if you need to. Here's a rake. It's a yard rake. It's a heavy duty like rake. And, these things will all come in handy when, if it ever does hit the fan, or let's just say gas stations close up or the grid goes down. All these tools will be the ones you're looking for. And right now, people sell them cheap. Here's a little bow saw I bought. And I ordered some more blades for it because this blade here is pretty rough. But if you got to cut down a tree, that'd be real handy. Good set of post hole diggers. If you got to dig a hole, like if you got to start a toilet or something, good set of post hole diggers reach down in there a mighty long ways. And they come in real handy. They're not fun to use, but it ain't like having a good auger. But if you can't get gas for that auger, that's how you'll have to get it took care of. Round point, square point shovels. Get you a couple of them. They always come in handy for digging holes or digging up planks, moving trees and stuff. Them are real handy. Oh, here's a pick. I just put this handle in this pick. I like to buy picks and stuff. It's got the handle broke out or something, and then I'll put a handle in them. But right there is a real good strong pick. And if you have to dig a ditch, trust me, you'll need that pick. Here's the way you get taters out of the ground. This is called a tater fork, a little short handled pitchfork, and it makes getting your potatoes out of the ground a whole lot easier. And if you ain't got your tractor, you can't get your taters up. But don't forget the old trusty hoe. That's the way to get in there between the crops and keep the weeds out of your garden and stuff if you want to, or just to keep them beat back so far so your crops can grow. But that's a good thing to have. Right here's a little weed whacker. You take and just swing it, and it'll cut your weeds down. You can just take a file and file that and sharpen it, and it will get the job done. I hunt you some gloves, people, because you will need gloves if you go to use these kind of tools. But see, that's all it is a little weed whacker. I've got mowing size down there in another building. Them, big hooks like the Grand Reaper has. I got some of them. A mattock, just a lightweight mattock is awful handy. That helps you dig a ditch, or you can dig down, gardening and anything else. They're good for that. But a good mattock is something you ought to have. A good maul. This here is like a sledgehammer or a railroad maul. And I'm going to say that baby right there weighs 12 pound or better. And if you need to drive a nail, which I'll show you some things over here that I have, others, they're over here, I'll show them to you in a minute. But that right there in them, you can bust rocks. If you hit a rock shelf or something, you can take that and bust rocks with it. Just a common sledgehammer. You know, them right there coming awful handy. And if you got wedges, which I've got some over here, I'll show you, you can bust wood with a wedge and a sledgehammer. Let me see. I had a bunch more I was going to show you, but I went in here in this building where I keep my tools, and there's a wasper's nest about that big full of them little yellow and black devils. So I quit. Here's an old-timey grubbing hoe. It's just a heavier duty hoe, and it'll do, now that'll do some work. You don't have to worry about tearing that hoe up. Let me get this out. This is a little sprayer. You can put 7 dust in that and walk down through your garden and go, psh, 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 and it'll blow that dust out and cover your cabbages and beans and stuff like that. You can still find these. This here says for any kind of bug, it says. So that's a good little thing to have. I'm gonna put this up. Okay, a good bush axe. I just put the handle on this the other day. Good bush axe, if you're in brush and stuff, they get real handy. And I recommend you find you a couple bush axes. And you can chop down trees with bush axes. Now there's another one here. I guess I didn't get it out. Okay, here's a weed getter. You stick it in there and turn it, stick it in the ground and turn it, and it just pulls the weeds up, tears the roots up. And, you know, it might give you something to do. And grandkids love this thing for some reason. They like going down through there and wringing weeds out of the ground. They think that's a pretty cool tool. Now, here's another maul. It's a little smaller one. I like to have them in different sizes because, you know, you want one to kind of match the job. You don't want to swing a 40-pound maul if you're doing something that just needs a 5-pound maul. But get you a variety of all kinds of these hand tools. Right here, right here's another axe. Now this one ain't as heavy as the other one. This in here you could chop a tree down with if you had to. And then if you remember that one that's in my bag, it's that E-swing axe, real light axe, good for chopping trees and busting wood and stuff. But these here's my yard tools, you know. And I try to have 3 or 4 of everything. And that way I don't have to worry about it running out. Or if one breaks, I have one to cover it. Okay. Here's a little thing that's handy. It's like a 4-prong fork that you can get in the garden. This right here, and you can move some weeds, buddy, and I mean in a hurry. And it also breaks the ground up real good to let moisture, you know, if it's going to rain, you can go down and rake that through your garden, and it'll get the ground loosened up, where if it rains, it'll do you some good. Now, this is just a start. If them waspers hadn't got close to me, we'd have had a lot more of these hand tools and stuff to show you. Here's a machete. You know, just if you got to cut your trail through weeds or whatever, you know, have you a good machete or 2 on hand. I probably have 4 machetes of different calibers, you know, different lengths and stuff. But a machete's a good thing to have. And I know y'all have seen these little hand saws. I've got several of these little hand saws. Now, they'll make short work of some work for you, like cutting down a little small tree or something. But they're awful handy for that. And remember the big crosscut saws and stuff. You might want to hunt you a few of them. Like, you know, in my living room, when we go in there and talk, you see them behind my back. If you get a chance to get you a couple of those, get some of them. Any tool you can buy will come in handy if the grid goes down, crap hits the fan, or anything else. Now, I have my solar system. So it's a small solar system that just charges batteries. But like these cordless drills and stuff, you know, that little battery goes in here. I would hook me up some way to be able to use these. If it ever hits the fan, I can charge my batteries and still use these if I've got some kind of carpenter work I have to have. Little hammers. I've got all kinds of these little hammers. This was a hole handle. This little ball peen hammer needed a handle, so I put one in it. And if you look now, I'll tell you something else. Anytime you see handles where they selling tools, see this here, $18.50. I don't know if you can see that or not. But you go buy it now, that's about a $40 handle. And, you know, you'll need this if you break that bush axe handle. Okay, right here, this was a sledgehammer handle, broke. No, it was a busted maul. But I got a sledgehammer over here. I'll take a draw knife and I'll cut this handle down to fit that sledgehammer, and I'll put a handle in that sledgehammer, and that fixes that sledgehammer. I put handles in a lot of things, holes and all kinds of stuff. Me looking here to see if there's anything else I can see. No, and I'm not going in there on them yaller waspers. They just a little tougher than old mountain man is. All right, let me move you over here and I'll bring you right back. Okay, right here is another way I like to save money when I'm buying these tools. See all these heads? They don't have handles in them. And you can buy handles pretty reasonable. See? And I will put handles in all these matics. Now, these railroad spikes, I guess is what they was in time. These here come in real handy if you got to bust a rock or something. And I've got several of them, as you can see right here, that I bought at a sale. Here's that sledgehammer I was talking about need the handle. I'm going to put that handle in it. And see, here's a little matic I just put a handle in. I need to get it out of the weather. I got to tighten it up right there a little bit. But, you know, ours is a little matic. And I've got several here I got to get the handles out of. See right there? There's a sledgehammer. Got the handle broke out I bought. Here's a maul like you bust wood with. I'm going to get a handle for it. Then this thing here, if I can get it open, is full of, here's a little draw knife I used to cut them handles down. It's about had it. This had a lot of use of it. I've got whole heads. Here's another bush axe head. I'll put a handle in. I mean, there's all kinds of axes, tools, and stuff like that I bought, and you can buy them for near nothing, especially if they don't have a handle. Why, people don't know what to do with them. Here's something else. I don't know who done that, but look, they cut that railroad track out, and I use that as an anvil for doing stuff like cutting anything, or you know, if I gotta brad something together. Now, if you look right here on the building, you'll see there's tools on it, grease gun, stuff like that. Okay, let me walk you over here to another place, and I'll bring you right back. Okay, right here in these aluminum toolboxes is where I keep my carpenter's tools. I've got all kinds of breaker bars and tools like that. I get concrete tools with work on concrete and stuff with. I bought these real cheap, if I can get them out. See, floats and stuff. I got a bunch of them in there. There's levels and everything in here. I'm not going to dig them out because that thing is scorching hot laying out here in the sun. My ginseng digger, there's what that is. That's my ginseng digger, but that does good for the garden also. If you got fencing to do, get you a good set of fencing pliers. That pulls steeples, nails, everything. Don't forget little things like hammers and stuff like that come in real handy. I got hammers laying around everywhere. Here's a little level. I've got squares and stuff like that in here. I've got all kinds of the blades and stuff for my tools, like, you know, my saw and stuff. It runs off a battery. Okay. And this black one here is mechanicing tools. I've got all kinds of mechanicing tools in here. I still have routers, skill saws, all kinds of hammers, stuff like that. See, there's a hammer, sanders, and stuff like that that I can use on that grid, on that little solar system. Squares and all that. You want to get all that stuff you can get your hands on. I don't know if I can lift it, but I've got I can't lift it. There's 3 big toolboxes full of mechanicing tools, like wrenches and sockets and stuff like that. I bought a string level the other day just so I'd have one. I've got staplers and everything else in there. Now, we'll walk out here and I'll show you some other stuff that I have to, you know, that's tool wise. Okay. I keep all kinds of plumbing tools and stuff like that for plumbing. I try to buy all the nails and stuff like that I can get used. I mean, new, but, you know, where somebody's already bought them. Mason hammers. Here's one of my levels where I was working out here. Skill saws under here. I have hand saws in case the grid ever goes down. We'll walk down here to rabbit pen because, you know, I try to keep a lot of tools everywhere. I've got all these little bits and drivers and stuff. Try to get you a bunch of them if you're going to have the electric drills and stuff, the cordless drills and stuff. You will need stuff like that. Here's the rabbits while we're in here. There's my boy, old Buck. See him there? There's one of my little females. There's a little Californian. She likes her little box. She never did have babies. And there's another little female. Let's go in the house and I'll do some more tools and I'll be right back with you. Before we run the house, I'll show you. Right there's a toolbox of mechanic tools. Over on the other side, there's a bucket of plumbing stuff where I went and helped the neighbor with their plumbing. And they give me some egg cartons. And, you know, you can't never have too many tools. Give me just a second and we'll go on with the tour. Okay. See all those meat grinders and stuff up there? Here's a cornmeal grinder. That makes cornmeal. Right here's an apple butter kettle that we make apple butter in. I would have showed you that cauldron out there, but it's too far in there to dig it out. But it's like for making soap or making lard and stuff. Here's a little butter churn I bought the other day. And, you know, it wasn't expensive. It's just $10. I wanted to have it. Here's some of my cast iron spoons just show you, you know, in case you had to have to cook on the outside. I bought these the other day. That's the bits for these next tools I'm going to show you. I bought some of them extra. Okay, see, it's they're called bracing and bits and stuff right through here. Okay, that's what them fit. And if you have to drill a hole and your drill ain't working, that's what you better have. I've got a ton of different kinds of crosscut saws. I think you can see them right there pretty good. Okay, the apple butter sticks is right here. See them right there? One's an apple butter and one's a large stick. Right here is a corn planer. And I'm telling you, anything you can buy like that, get your hands on it and put it up. Right here's two old clamps that there's wooden clamps, but they do a good job on stuff. Let's walk on through here. Here's a skinning knife. If you had to flesh an animal, that's a fleshing knife. I've got all kinds of like ice picks and stuff like that. Hames, swingle trees. There's a whole setup for a backer, a plank dropper, which you can use that for any kind of plank. And then I got a draw knife, a backer knife, spears. This right here is used to pull wood, like logs and stuff out of the woods. And then, you know, here's crosscut saws. They're everywhere. If you look, there's some above that. There's the deer horns. There's a saw. But if you look at all these crosscut saws and tools and stuff, like I said, you can't have too many. And if you think you have too many, you know, think them as, if you get them cheap enough, as bartering tools. Let me let you down a little bit. And, man, it's hot outside. But, you know, it's something to give you to think on, something to prep with. You know, if you can't use a tractor and you can't use your chainsaw and your weed eater and your lawnmower and all that, well, you got to maintain a little bit of something. So all those tools will come in real handy. And when we was little, we didn't have a tractor. We had a horse-drawn plow and stuff. We had horses. But I've got some of that equipment bought up over at my brother-in-law's. We put all that in his barn, and over here underneath a little camper and stuff he's got to keep him up in good shape. Just, you can't find a horse that'll work. If you do, you better get a young'un and break it yourself, because people don't know how to work horses. That's just a fact. But, you know, all this stuff just will come in so handy. And, you know, if you have it and nobody else does, man, they're worth a fortune. Go on Marketplace. Go to yard sales. I was over there the other day. I bought a big old blue tub, and we get about that big. Had a bunch of them tools in it out there. It ain't got handles in it. And then there was a shovel and different things like that. Got them all for $20. And, you know, for $20, you can't buy a good shovel no more. But, you know, if you have to bust wood and stuff, a maul is the handiest thing on earth, because you can flat bust some wood with one of them. But if you got to cut it down, one of them old cross cuts and an axe be a quick way to get her on the ground. But, you know, it's hard work now. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, what will those things be worth if it does hit the fan? You know, and people can't find tools like that. I look through Marketplace every day. And if I see tools, I seen some today, said $3 a piece. It had shovels and rakes and mattocks stuff. You can't buy that for that, people. I'm telling you. Look in them places, a Marketplace, and people don't use tools like that, so they don't give it a thought. I've got tools like that in 2 or 3 buildings, because, you know, if you use something, it will break eventually. I try to buy extra handles, and I'm trying to learn to make handles. You know, that's why I got that draw knife, and I've got another couple draw knives. I got some planers, little hand planers and stuff, to where if I have to, a man might have to take a day, but he can make a handle or two to put back in his tools when it comes time that hits the fan. But, you know, if I was going to do stuff like this, now, I want to talk about y'all's bug out locations. You don't need all this stuff sitting at your house. You need it at your bug out location. Because, you know, you don't want to load all this stuff up and take it, you know, 200 miles. Then, you know, if you can't get through, what do you do with it? You just lost it. I would get me some kind of real good storage container, or I'd bury it somewhere, or get a steel container and put them under the house or something, or your, your shelter, and that way that'd be where you're going. But give it stuff thought. Get you some files, people. You got to have files because you can't sharpen them, if you don't have files and stuff like that. And these saws here, you got to have a rat tail file. You got to have a triangle file. You got to have a flat file. You got to learn how to sharpen these crosscut saws. And then there's a tooth setter. I got a whole set of tools that ain't for nothing but setting the teeth on these saws right so they'll really, put the wood out. But anything, look anywhere, anything. If you go to a yard sale, buy them, because I'm telling you, if you look at the price of shovel at Walmart, anywhere else, them shovels at Walmart, you get on them and put some pressure while they'll just bow like that, they ain't worth 5 cents. You get these old shovels now, they'll last. And any shovel, if it's square point, round point, I've got some down here called pothole shovels. They're round and great big. And it's said that one shovel of that in gravels would fill a pothole. But it's a shovel. I use it for manure and stuff like that. I go down there and shake it out on the garden and stuff. If I can't find no other shovels, or it's a short handle shovel, and that's something else. Get you some long handles and short handles, because you will need both. And if if you can, it ain't hard to put handles in something. And most people, if you go to a yard sale and they got a couple old tools that got the handles broke out, and they think they're junk, but they'd like to get something out of them. I'll offer them $5 or so from them. You'll be surprised how many people hand them to you. I couldn't tell you on all them tools after I showed you that had the handles broke out of them, I probably ain't got $15 in all of them. Now, handles, will cost me extra to fix them, but if I can still fix them and save money, it's saving money. All right, I want to give y'all something to think on tools and stuff that you need if it does hit the fan. And I'm saying you ain't got a whole long time fire, people. And at first, if you're going to try to have a garden or anything else, you're going to need tools. And unless you got like grow beds and stuff like that, where you still need something to tire them up, loosen them up with. And I just touched on the tools. I just barely touched on them. But if them yaller washers, yaller and black washers hadn't been in that building, I'd have had a bunch more to show you, mowing size and stuff like that I bought up. I probably have 5 sets of post hole diggers. Well, crap hits the fan, and people start looking for post hole diggers. I got some, and I believe I didn't pay over $5 a pair for them. And you look at them in Walmart, anywhere else, them things are expensive. But like I said, give yard sales and stuff a try. Buy any kind of tools you can buy: mechanic tools, carpenter tools, yard working tools, tree cutting tools, any of it. And I promise you, you won't be sorry that you have them. And I know that right now, if you can buy an auger, gas auger, you might want to get one for now. But how much gas can you store over a year? It just stays good for a year. That's if you treat it. You'd be running out of gas pretty quick. Diesel fuel's the same way. I reckon propane don't go bad. I do have some them little 15-pound propane cans, and if I had to cook or whatever, I could use them for a temporary situation. That's something else. Get you some little propane cans, people. Get you one of them burners like you do, deep fried turkey and stuff with. You can always set a pot on that and cook with it. And that'd be another tool I'd look at, and get me some, if you can get 100-pound tanks, get them. Get you some 15-pound tanks. People get, people that throwing a grill away or something, most of the time they'll have them tanks. I believe I give $10, maybe $15 a piece for the tanks. And it cost me about that much to get them filled up. Well, I guess I've took up enough of your time. But any kind of knives, tools, anything like that, you can get your hands on, I get my hands on. All right, I'm going to let you go. Y'all have a good day. Have a blessed day. Take care of each other, and we'll see you on the next video.